Hello, freak bitches.
Everyone's mad about everything. Like Donald Trump breathes,
Yes.
everyone's mad.
Yeah.
Donald Trump breathed today. The picture that's going around on CNN where it's like, it was literally like, is Donald Trump afraid of stairs? Was like the chyron, the lower third. And it's like,
Stairs.
And it's
he
like,
prefers elevators.
yeah, he prefers gilded elevators. But
Is that what they're serious? This is a real question?
This is the kind of stuff that's going on. And so when you
Is
say
it STAIR or STARE?
Oh, no, stairs like that you walk up and down, yeah.
Okay.
And AIRS.
Because it could be like the evil
Yeah,
eye.
he's afraid of stairs. But to me, I'm like, and that's why it goes back, the fact is, and I think this is an important component to maybe making you understand what happened a little bit better because you're not in that ecosystem, but I think you can relate because you're seeing it happen elsewhere, is that the gaming media is dying. And they're dying because no one really trusts them or cares what they have to say anymore. People, 10-year-olds and 15-year-olds today are not growing up being like, I wonder what Polygon has to say about the newest game. They go to YouTube. And find a guy there that they trust and believe, which is why the only people unanimously pretty much that came out in my defense were YouTubers, because they know that they're the next rung of this evolution of the way we absorb and communicate and absorb information and have news. Meanwhile, these people, to your point, are writing clickbait, trying to stay relevant, but no one really cares what they're saying anyway, so they're in their death throes. This is a way for them to take shots at multiple people at the same time. This is what they did to PewDiePie. This is what they did to other people.
Well, the PewDiePie one was really egregious.
It was egregious, but like, again, a lot of that stuff was taken out of context.
Yes.
And a lot of
No, I don't mean PewDiePie was egregious.
Oh, yeah.
I mean the attacks on him.
Oh, yeah, it was terrible. What Wall Street Journal did to him, this is just a sign of the times. These are people fighting, and I really feel this way, and you might disagree, but I feel like a lot of it is these people are fighting for their lives. If I were a person that was writing about...
hold on. The journalist.
The journalist, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if I were... I'm sorry to interrupt you. If I were... if I had written in the video game industry for 10 years, right? I wrote in the gaming industry for 14 years. But if I was a 10-year industry veteran and I had fewer than 10,000 Twitter followers and I'm writing for a site no one reads and I'm trying my hardest to stay relevant and to do my thing, I'd be pretty mad too if I saw a guy that turns on his camera and speaks whatever he wants and gets the amount of views in 30 minutes that I'll get the entire year.
Why would you be mad?
Because
it has nothing to do with you.
Well, it does. It has a lot to do with you because there's only so much time and space for these people to absorb things, and that's
famine mentality.
They'd rather go to YouTube.
There's 350 million people in this country alone, and there's many, many more people all over the world. The idea that anybody's views is somehow or another taking away from your views is just straight famine mentality. There's plenty of eyes to go around, and you're showing it right now with your new project.
Sure, but I'm just like.
But I'm just saying, like their thought process sucks.
Yeah, and ostensibly it's actually adding to their destruction because people are looking at this, like the media, for instance, in the political landscape is dying anyway. The decline is happening. Wall Street Journal put up a piece not too long ago saying that per capita viewership on television is actually starting to be outpaced by YouTube. So that's over now, right? So like now, and that's not on video online or video on demand. That's just YouTube. And so people are looking at the situation and actually precipitating it happening quicker because in order to stay relevant, they lie or they write hit pieces.
I think we should talk about what happened with PewDiePie because most people are like, who the fuck is PewDiePie and what happened?
Sure. Do you want me to explain it? Do you want
please. Go ahead.
Okay. So PewDiePie is the biggest YouTuber in the world. He has 55 million subscribers and he's a millionaire. Just to be clear, I don't really know him very well. I think I've had one or two communiques with him at some point, but I don't know him, so I don't really have a horse in the race. He lives in Europe. He lives in England. I think he's Swedish or something of that nature, but he lives in England. And he has a massive YouTube following. I mean, every video he does will have 10, 12, 15 million views. And you know you're on YouTube. I'm on YouTube in a much lesser sense. That's a lot of views. And he pushed the boundaries in some ways, in some tasteless ways, as is his right. And the thing that really caught on was that he was using this app or this service called Fiverr, which is this kind of TaskRabbit kind of thing where it's like you can pay people to do whatever you want. And he paid some of the things he did were otherwise, but he paid these guys in some country to hold up these like "Death to all Jews" signs or something like that as part of a joke. And it's something I think is somewhat tasteless. But he's trying to make a point. Whatever point he was trying to make a point. It was lost on a lot of people. And this combined with some other imagery he had been using, some like kind of fascist or Nazi imagery and some other things that have been going on over the months. I'm sorry. Did you want to? Oh, I thought you were about to say something. I'm sorry. And so eventually the Wall Street Journal caught wind of this. Wall Street Journal, obviously a very prolific right of center, but still pretty moderate newspaper. And basically went after him and tried to destroy him, and took a lot of things out of context and forced Disney owns a studio that funds him and all these kinds of things, and caused a lot of personal and economic destruction for this man.
It seems like they intentionally took things out of context too, and they distorted the actual intent of what he was trying to do, especially with telling people to not be Nazis. He was like mocking people that were being Nazis, and they used that to say this guy is pretending to be a Nazi.
Right. It was a completely dishonest hit piece in the same vein as the Condé Nast hit piece, is the same vein as the Hulk Hogan hit, is the same. It's these people, they, you know, the term punching up, they want to punch up, and they think they're punching up. Wall Street Journal's punching up now on YouTubers, but really caused a lot of...
That's hilarious. Punching up on a YouTuber.
That's the way they look at it.
Isn't that hilarious?
It is.
This guy's a YouTuber. He's a guy by himself. You're punching up to attack him because he's the king, because he's the media elite. I mean, that's the media elite. I mean, it's like an independent reporter attacking the, you know, ABC News or something like that.
Exactly. And to me, it was like, it showed a lot of cowardice. It showed a lot of half-cocked thinking on the Wall Street Journal's part to think that this wasn't going to blow back on them. And it showed a level, and I hate using this word because I don't think innately it's necessarily a bad thing, because I think it drives you forward, but there's a level of jealousy at play with a lot of these kinds of things that are happening.
That's what you were thinking about before, when you were saying that someone who's struggling to get 10,000 views on any story they write is going to look at a guy like this that can do one video where he talks about farts and he makes, you know, his 7 million views or something like that.
Yeah, and he makes 15 million a year or whatever.
At him.
Yeah, and they're mad, and they don't understand it. And I get that. You know, I look at some people that are famous, or some people that are, you know, have a platform, and I'm like, I don't get this, but I'm not gonna like sit here and like rain on their parade. That's their right. They have an audience. That's totally fine. Maybe look at yourself and why you don't have an audience. Maybe look at yourself and realize that if you've been doing this for so long and you're so proud of that, why isn't anyone listening to you? Could it be you? You know, instead of looking around for people to assassinate, which is what's basically happening here.
Right.
I find it so distasteful. I find it so destructive. We're at the precipice of a very dangerous time, because the trust in institutions, no matter where you are now, is just lost. And a lot of it has to do, and that's what I was saying with media precipitating the fall by not telling the truth, by not doing the right thing. I think the media, in terms of politics, for instance, is really rebounding from the fact that they thought Clinton was going to win, so they thought they can get away with saying and doing anything for that means to an end.
Yeah.
The Donna Brazile thing, for instance, where she was feeding questions to the Clinton campaign, is so incredible. So shows such a level of bias and systemic inherent bias. They thought they were going to get away with all of it. Now no one trusts anyone. So when I see all this stuff, I don't know what's going on with Russia and Trump. For all I know, he could be a fucking Manchurian candidate, you know? But I don't believe a word they say. You know, like when I read this about Paul Manafort, about Flynn, about blah, 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 I'm like, I don't know. You lied about all this other shit. I have no idea what you're talking about. You know, I have to really do my own research. I don't even know who to trust anymore. They did that to themselves, and they precipitated their own downfall. More and more people are going on YouTube to listen to people like you, to listen to people even like Alex Jones, to listen to Dave Rubin, to listen to...
It's a giant problem.
It is a problem because
especially if you're listening to me.
Well, it's a problem because you need people in the trenches that you trust. You need someone in the press room at the White House. You need someone in the AP that is on the wire, that is telling you the truth. But when you can't even trust them anymore, that's a big problem. And that's when people go seek out alternative sources of news and information and entertainment. And that's what's happening, and that's why they're dying. Yeah,
well, in many ways, that that big corporate model is ensuring their own demise.
Absolutely. And it's the race for clicks, it's the race for money, it's the race for prominence, it's the race for relevance.
And not honesty, and not transparency, and not a real objective sense of what the truth is and what the actual facts of a story are. That's where journalism is a different thing now, because it's now a entertainment show. It's an entertainment show that also has the news in it. But that's why the women are so hot. That's why the women on Fox News are wearing these tiny little dresses, and they have beautiful legs and heels on, and they're talking about important issues, but they're giving you a little bit of eye candy while they're doing it.
It's so transparent, too. When I see that kind of stuff, I'm like, that was a very attractive woman. Yeah. I'm sure she knows what she's talking about, but I know why she sits at the end of the table.
I like when they're aggressive, too. Look at Megyn Kelly. She's attractive and she's aggressive.
Yeah, she's smart. Yes. That's what makes her sexy.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
But you know, yeah. So we're in this weird space. You know it.
Yeah.
We're in this just very bizarre space.
Do you feel like this is like almost an adolescent period in human communication, that we're going through this weird growth period where we have this incredible access to information and the ability to spread it like we have now with social media and with YouTube and all these different things, where anybody can kind of hop in and all of a sudden get a platform like this PewDiePie guy. PewDiePie wasn't a star. He wasn't a politician. He wasn't an actor before this. He was just a guy.
Yep.
And he connected with people and carved out this path for himself. And pretty much anybody can kind of do that now. I mean, it's not easy. It's not. If it was easy, everyone would do it. But it is not insurmountable. And I wonder what the next stage is in terms of the ability to share information. If it's going to change past where it's at now and get to some new level.
Yeah, I think you're right in the sense that the internet specifically had taken off so quickly. The World Wide Web, is only 24 years old. The internet's way older, but the way we communicate with each other now is so different than even Usenet in the 80s or these kind of university communications that they had going on in the 70s where they were sharing things amongst each other. You don't need gatekeepers anymore. There are no gatekeepers. You can go start a YouTube channel now, find an audience, gain thousands of subscribers, make a lot of money, and say what you want. And that's scary to the traditional gatekeepers, and they don't like it. And their fight against it is so transparent, and it's so self-serving. We need a media that we can trust, but I don't think we need the media as it is right now either, because the media we have right now is bloated, dishonest, partisan, politically and motivated, all these things that don't really serve a purpose to educating and informing someone. The days of Cronkite are gone.